Filter paper is used to separate solid particles from liquids during filtration. The second category of experiences we make is called the identification exercise. In this first example, we're using a series of still 360 images and our Unity Tours template to mimic interaction with the environment. Beakers are general-purpose containers used for mixing, heating, and holding liquids. We've basically got a learning mode and a testing mode, where you can go around and learn about all the items on the checklist, or you can be challenged to go identify them one at a time. This is exactly what students do for real in this chemistry lab. They learn where everything is by walking around the lab and finding individual items. By using unlabeled images, we also get the benefit of students proving they can identify the proper items, not just read the labels on the drawers. By doing this in the headset, this lab becomes accessible anytime, day or night, and students can get the benefit of repeating the process as many times as they like. Again, this is what we would call a 360 hybrid experience, and the functionality involved is pretty minimal, but it's absolutely perfect for utilizing the VARK learning method, right? Visual, auditory, reading, and kinesthetic. Obviously, we're seeing the lab from multiple angles as we move through it, and we're reading the name of the items as we're hearing them spoken aloud. Basically, every learning style is covered, so we know the information is going to lock in. Now, on the full CGI side of things, identification exercises can get pretty complex depending on the subject matter. We've got 3 types of items here: the object itself, its name on a label, and the symbol that represents it in diagrams. Right now, we're matching the object, but we could always switch this up to where you're matching the symbol or the label, or even randomize which one is missing. We're learning by doing, and we could always turn this into a quiz simply by tracking how many incorrect attempts at placement were made. These wiring diagrams are pretty complex, and they can kind of make people rethink if they want to get into electrical mechanisms and whatnot. But by making a game of it, we increase the likelihood of them learning by removing some of the anxiety out of the process. We should already be recognizing some of the objects by seeing their symbol and label on the schematic, and we can quickly compare the layout of items side by side with the different circuits set up at these stations. And once we've matched them, they're interactive, and we have these verbal explanations they can click on to get more information. But by forcing them to explore the room, the act of learning becomes an interactive experience, and that's really the key to immersive media, as it creates a vivid memory of when the knowledge was first obtained. As far as the underlying technology goes, there's not too terribly much going on here. We just repeat the process a lot. We've got some objects and places to put them, and when the two overlap, the system checks whether it's the correct item and acts accordingly. We just do that a bunch of times because we have so many items, and that's really where the heavy lifting comes in this experience. All of these things had to be created by a 3D modeler, and a lot of them have special materials so they can highlight when you point at them, and some animate when you interact with them as well. However, when you think about the price of all these components in the real world and having to have a dedicated space laid out for this activity, it makes all the sense in the world to use immersive media for this kind of identification exercise. We only had to build it once, and now an unlimited number of schools can get an infinite supply of this electronic circuits lab, where nothing can ever be lost or broken, and most importantly of all, no one can accidentally electrocute themselves.